So this week we really got the ball rolling on our project. We figured out and consolidated our social media plans and ideas, and we're launching all of that soon. And we're also working on our second installment. We turned in our first one and we talked about that.
So for Europe and Central Asia, I talked about the 2015 migrant crisis and the way that that's influenced nationalism and xenophobia throughout the EU. And then for specific examples, I went into Italy's port closures to migrants through the Mediterranean and how that's causing problems.
So I talked about how there's increased censorship and criminalization of any political activity. So for example, in Egypt, there is a pretty specific case, a pretty interesting case of a reporter from The Guardian being expelled by Egyptian security forces just because of the way of the reporting that reporter did on how many cases there were of COVID, and it didn't match up with the numbers that the government was giving. So that is similar to what has been happening in Jordan, where they declared that sharing news would cause panic. Sharing news that would cause panic about the pandemic in media or online can carry a penalty of up to 3 years in prison.
I'm covering Asia, and so the way I assess this was existing problematics and then problems that were coming out of the coronavirus. And in my writing about the major problematics that were existing in the region, it pretty much breaks down into two buckets, which are governmental restriction on freedom of expression and all the things that go with that, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, and then other fundamental issues like, persecution of people, and the Rohingya Muslims being essentially pushed out of Myanmar, and so those are broken into two buckets that I kind of identified. And the thing about the attack on freedom of expression is that there's a lot of government mistrust, and I don't know, I may have stolen this line from Rachel. But I wrote in my paper, there's a trend of government mistrust in the region that is being amplified by censorship and the criminalization of political activity. And yeah, so there are all of these issues that are occurring in Asia, issues of marginalized groups being harmed by public policy, military action, and then just general prejudices.
We also nailed down and figured out our performance piece and what we want that to look like.
We are going to perform it. I don't know when, I don't know how. Okay, not only here, but the piece that we're going to write, in my mind, I want to perform it in Catania. I want them to perform that piece in Catania. I don't know how, I don't know when, but one thing tells me that it's going to happen because the universe works in so beautiful ways.
We're going to be collecting all the building blocks for that in the weeks to come, and then work on that come July. So it's really exciting to see everything really coming into shape.